I started making baskets about 10 years ago with Fran James at the Northwest Indian College, and the baskets just took hold of my soul. My name is Anna Jefferson. My Indian name is Lachlesia, and I am from the Lummi Nation, which is right outside of Bellingham, Washington. The sweetgrass, once it's dry, it's a completely different thing. It's the smell and texture, but the harvesting of it is pretty messy. We have to go into an estuary where the salt water meets the fresh water at the mouth of a stream, and it's pretty mucky in there once you get all that dirt off, because if you don't get that off, it ends up staining the grass. So it's quite a process. I've always loved baskets. I started collecting them before I started to make them. And they're so expensive to collect. My husband told me, you're an Indian, a Northwest Coast Indian, why don't you just make your own baskets? And I think that kind of got me going on the basket weaving. The type of basketry that I produce is functional. I like to stick with the traditional technique, and I like to think that there's a purpose for my baskets. I like people to use them. I know a lot of people consider it an art form or a piece of art, and people that buy my pieces actually do treat it as such and display it, like for instance in museums or just a special place up on the shelf or the mantle or something. But I like to know that my pieces are being used also. This is called splitting the warp. To make a finer weave up the sides. I kind of, once in a while I'll sit down and have something all planned out, but usually when I do my work, I just kind of go, just create as I go along. It fulfills me to know that I'm helping to carry on the art form and the technique. I like to think that my daughter is going to be a basket maker. I'm not going to force it on her, but she was telling her little friend, was listening to them talk in the back seat.
Hey, Mommy.
Thank you, honey. Very nice. Very big. It's beautiful. She says, when my mom quits making baskets when she gets old, and when I grow up, she said, I'm going to be the teacher. And she said, well, you want to be one of my students? She said, I'll teach you how to make baskets because I'm going to know how.
There's a cedar tree over here. It's a really pretty one.
The trees are so old around here. To me, it's more of a spiritual thing. Like, I've always had the respect for nature, and that's part of cedar. All the materials that I use are part of that nature. I've always wanted to make that connection with the ancestors, and I feel that through the cedar I can do that. I can make that connection, and it's just this very special material to not only me, but to all of our people here on the coast.
Just keep sawing until you get down to the white part. That should do it. Make this first little cut. I call it the runner strip. It kind of allows for the next bark strip to go a little higher up the tree. So this first one's only a couple inches wide. Let's see how much sap is in there. Use this nice heavy blade so it doesn't break. Oh yeah, it's nice and juicy in there. Okay, come on, tree. Okay, I'd like to just pull it up so I can get my hands around it. And I'm just gonna lean back and try to pull it off so it goes up the tree. I prefer to use the trees that I can just hug, that I can get my arms barely all the way around. They're a nice size, and the bark's usually perfect. You only have to split it 2 or 3 times. And it's generally a nicer quality bark. It's not pitchy like the old growth bark.
It takes probably about an equal amount of time to get the materials to the weavable stage as it does to make the baskets. Sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less, but a pretty even amount of time. The art of weaving the materials, the fibers, the cedar barks and grasses into a useful basket, I feel has given me a connection to the ancestors. I feel that they're sitting right there with me at sometimes, watching me work and even helping me to figure out problems that I might come across.